Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast. Not only your favorite podcast on all of your podcast players, we are on iHeartMedia, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, etc., etc. But, ladies and gentlemen, our official debut to Jarrett Parsons Wrestling Television as well.
Available where?
On Roku devices.
On Roku. Now, folks, if you're not familiar with Roku, these are a portal to every streaming service you can possibly imagine. You can go to Walmart, pick one up for like $30. It's super easy. That's an HDMI port, plug it in the back of your television. Sometimes you might have to put some USB power to it. All that's included. Bam, click in, get your account, and you are set up to see Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, Jarrett Parsons, all your great streaming services are available right there. You get a remote control. Even the high-end ones have headphones in the remote so you can listen privately. The best way, in my opinion, the best streaming service, the best way to get content. You're missing out if you don't have one. Super easy. You can get them anywhere.
Walmart.
Any store, Walmart, any Target, Best Buy, any store like that. You can get them on Amazon.
Amazon, which you could use our link to support the show. It's on our website. Click on it.
Exactly. And to me, I love it. I've had one as a gift. I got one. I bought another one from downstairs. I bought one for my mother. The kids have Hulus. It's so much easier than anything else because you just get this remote control that's just so simplistic. You just touch this and home, or you touch this. Folks, I can't recommend a better streaming thing, and I am so proud to be on Jarrett Parsons because they are on a platform I use almost on a daily basis, man. Roku is terrific.
So yeah,
and they'll be on Amazon Fire also.
Yeah, and you want to check them out because they got a lot of old classic content, Continental, Memphis, Portland, lots of other things, some really other cool stuff that they're working on as well. Yep. But check them on out. Like I said, it's the streaming service, Jarrett Parsons Wrestling Television, available on Roku devices. We just wanted to say thanks for bringing us aboard, and we're excited about it.
Well, thank y'all for stopping by and watching. If this is a new thing to you, we are going into our third year of broadcasting. We do the video component. We release this as an audio podcast, Facebook video, and we're just two wrestling fans. We go to a lot of independent shows. We watch a lot of wrestling on TV. We've been wrestling fans since we were small children. And this is just our opinions on things. Absolutely,
man. Well, and like I said, if you are new to us, we're the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast. We hope you enjoy it. Always feel free to reach out to us. We are on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Tapped Out Pod. And of course, you can find us at tappedoutpod.com as our website, and tappedoutpod@gmail.com is our email. You can shoot us any messages or any questions, comments, etc. Constructive, please, is all that we ever ask. But man, let's roll right into it, man. It's I had the whole format set up ready to rock and roll this week. I had AEW's Double or Nothing pay-per-view as a topic. We're going to talk about some stuff. And then what happens this morning? They announced their official deal with TNT. They have an official national television deal.
A weekly live national television deal. That's an important part. You brought that up earlier.
Very.
Live television, live wrestling, not taping it out. We're looking at WWE level content stuff where they're going to live do the shows. That means they're going to have to record live. Sorry, that's a misnomer. But they're going to be doing this, okay, every time that you see the program. It's going to be live, which requires production trucks, which requires all kind of stuff that you can't do with tape TV. You can't sit down and do 8 episodes at one shooting. So we're going to see how good their production is, folks.
I am actually super curious to see their production levels and things like that. I know they got some really good guys involved in that part of the process, so I think they'll be fine. But you brought it up. Now, the rumors are, wink, 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 as we always like to say, that it was reported on a couple Twitter accounts, wink, wink, that the deal is they're not getting paid the licensing rights for the television show. Basically, TNT is going to cover some of the production, and they'll split ad revenue. So it's better than being a time buy, but it's not as good as the licensing rights. The only thing that I have negative to say about it, I mean, it's still a good spot to be in. It's better than a time buy, and that was the worst case scenario.
Better than a Twitch channel.
Well, I mean, it's just better than them buying the time. I mean, it's for me personally. I think the show's at least the opportunity. The rumors was that it was an opportunity. If they do well, then it could probably grow into something more like where they're being paid the licensing rights.
Mm-hmm.
So that was cool that they have a national TV deal out of it. But also part of the package deal was BR Live, which is Bleacher Report Live, if you want to call it what it is. Available. It's an app that you can get pretty much anywhere. That's going to be their official streaming service. Because guess who owns it? Time Warner Media. So they kind of packaged it all together.
Over to the home screen, right there on my phone.
Pretty simple.
I'm looking to see where the content pops up. Haven't seen the listing for the price yet.
We're gonna, I mean, let's go. Well, we'll go ahead and talk about it real quick. I came across it on Comcast. They're advertising it for $59.99. I'm sure that's the HD version, of course. I know somebody posted that Verizon had it for $49.99. For one, I'm confused that there's multiple price points on a pay-per-view. But unless that $49.99 was not an HD version, if it was a standard, that would make some sense. Why anybody's buying anything not in HD, that doesn't make sense, but that's a whole different argument.
Some content's not really, like, I bought the the Dark Side of the Ring for some reason. I bought them early. I paid like $1.99 for it because it was cheaper, and you didn't really need the Super HD.
Well, you don't need Super HD because the wrestling footage was on VHS and it wasn't in HD to begin with. So
1970s wrestling footage, so it really wasn't like you can make it look too good in my opinion. So,
but all that being said, I know there's been a lot of flack for it being $60, $50, whatever the price may be. Why not $39.99 or $29.99 or blah, 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 blah.
$25 like the NWA show was.
Well, here's the thing. You can look at it two ways. One, they're capitalizing on the buzz. If we can get, who knows how many, hundreds, thousands of buys, and we can charge more. The casual fan, I'm not being negative here. I just think this is my opinion. I don't think the casual fan is buying this pay-per-view.
No.
The diehard fan is buying this pay-per-view. Guess what they'll pay for?
Pay-per-view, and
they'll pay money.
They'll pay for it, and they're willing to. And that's one thing people have discovered about wrestling fans, the people who watch seriously, per capita, that person spends more money than they ever have before. But that base is shrinking.
And it's the classic example of it. The show is in Las Vegas. People are flying to Vegas for the show.
Yes. Well, they've done really good job with All In and Double or Nothing with putting the shows in event cities. Like people would always, I've always wanted to see Chicago. I've always wanted to go to Vegas. There's plenty of stuff to do. You can make a trip out of it. It's on Memorial Day weekend. We're a year after All In, man.
Well, there's the they were Labor Day. You were there. That was the fall.
Oh, Labor Day.
But what I'm saying, though, is that flights are inexpensive, but, like, when WWE does a pay-per-view, now, I think the Rumble and some of those are exceptions. SummerSlam, WrestleMania, people travel to all those. But as a whole, that city's, it's drawing from that population.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that, like paying $60, people are buying plane tickets, hotel rooms, tickets, StarCast packages, and stuff, for this event. They see the crowd. They look at it and go, our fans will pay $60. Just get every freaking dime we can get.
Well, yeah, that's their
and there's nothing wrong with that, by the way.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. It's business. It's what the market bears. If someone will pay for it, then it's not out of the ordinary. That's what you do in business. You set a price point. If people are not willing to pay, you lower that price point. Mm-hmm. It's supply and demand. They've not flooded the market with pay-per-views yet. This is their first all-elite pay-per-view. So we're going to see. You know, if nobody buys it, I'm sure the price will go down. But I don't think they're going to have that problem.
I don't know if maybe it's that high on like Comcast or Verizon because they get a cut.
Yeah.
Maybe if with their exclusive deal, if it's on BR Live, it'll be less because maybe their partnership, the cut's less, etc. Maybe.
Yeah.
So maybe that's kind of the why. The other school of thought is the price is just too high. I mean, that goes back to what we were talking about, the casual fan. I don't think the casual fan's paying $60 for this pay-per-view. I don't think they're paying $50.
I bought a TNA pay-per-view, I paid like $50 for it. And it was insane.
And it was really TNA back then.
Yeah, it was TNA back then, so don't criticize me on my nomenclature. But yeah, I'll be interested to see if it goes, because I mean, I'm going to buy it. I can't watch it that night because my kids graduate high school, so I'll watch it the next day if that's how that works. Okay, if it's not, since it's not on Fight, I don't understand the concept.
Yeah, we don't know if you're going to get to keep it or how long you'll have it yet, or
yeah, because if I can buy it and access the content indefinitely, of course I'll buy it. But I can't watch it then, so just because I can't watch it then, I don't know how that will affect my purchasing.
Well, well, hopefully, like I said, that's but at the same time, your diehard fan's going to search it down, find a way to watch it. We'll do the same. I'm sure we're going to buy it and watch it because there's so much curiosity. But we were talking about the casual fan in general. First and foremost, I still wish them all the best of luck. I think they're going to do fine. Just we'll see.
I'm excited about it. I'm not saying, they're going to shut the WWE down.
Okay.
No, yeah. I'm excited about it because I get something else I can watch. I'm on a 3-week diet of WWE right now. I haven't seen it. The last time I watched it, I watched both shows in one sitting and got them done in about an hour for 5 hours worth of television. Because I was just skimming them. Right now, it's not touching me. Money in the Bank, looking forward to Money in the Bank. Can't wait for Sunday night to watch Money in the Bank.
Highlight packages and pay-per-views. You can live on that.
Bingo. I can live with it. I don't have to watch it. I don't feel guilty because I haven't. My heart is not heavy because I've missed WWE programming. Okay? Nothing against it. It's just, I don't feel guilty.
You shouldn't. Yeah. Well, I mean, to be a fan, you don't have to be a diehard guy watching everything, every show. And like I said, we're talking about the casual fan earlier. It's one of the things I wanted to ask you about. I know there was somebody, there was a local YouTube guy that puts a video out that came up about criticizing. There's the big debate was just being a fan and being a critic. Well, I took a spin on that because I'm talking about something totally different. When I say it's just hard to be a casual fan right now.
Yeah.
And we are not casual fans. I mean, that's in the grand scheme of things. But we know tons of people who are. And the question I always have with them is they talk about the struggle of being a casual fan because there's so many obstacles you have to overcome now, which is just hilarious to talk about. And there's, you mentioned beforehand in the pre-show that we record for our Patreon members at patreon.com/tappedoutpod. You can hear kind of us talk about like getting the show prep, getting ready for the show.
It's just raw ideas we're batting around.
Yeah, absolutely. You brought up that the only other that too, the only other environment like pro wrestling, social media, or just in general is the video game market. That everybody's just brutally rough on everything, and if you don't like what I like, you're an idiot. And then because here's the things I was talking about to you. The things that like a casual fan has to listen to, whether he's a 12-year-old kid, or whether it's just a 35-year-old dude who just casually flips through the channel, and but the most dangerous place you can go as a wrestling fan, especially a casual fan, is never dip your toe into pro wrestling social media. It's Twitter, Facebook, because
it's not bad, but Twitter is god awful. And I have a lot of friends on Twitter I don't have on Facebook, and I have a lot of interaction that I do on Twitter that I don't do on Facebook. But some days I flip over to wrestling Twitter, and it's just like Snape, 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 Snape. Horrible stuff.
Well, it's stuff
I don't like all the wrestling content. I don't like everything that comes on TV. But I don't have the time to walk around and criticize people that do like it.
Well, it's the thing of you have somebody put on there, and there's I'm not gonna say her name on the air. I probably was. She's a super fan of certain guys, and I love it to death. She's a huge Roman Reigns fan, but the poor lady just constantly the shots of Roman sucks, and how could you like him? You're an idiot. Why? Because she likes Roman Reigns. I mean, imagine being like a 12 or 13-year-old kid who has Twitter, which in hindsight, I would ask my kid, why would I even give a 12 or 13-year-old Twitter?
I still am not allowed my 15-year-old to have anything besides Instagram.
Because it's just pictures.
Right. Yeah, and because I'm also logged into her account, I can watch everything she does. But my 18-year-old son, he has them all. He follows now. Instagram for wrestling apparently is a pretty big deal.
It is, yeah.
I'm old. Sorry.
Well,
I
they
got
don't.
Twitter, Facebook.
The picture takes up.
I tried them all. I got so mad at Snapchat, I deleted everything.
I did delete Snapchat as well. It just doesn't work for me.
No, we're making work.
Well, here's why I think Instagram's probably a good environment, because the picture takes up most of the space. Who actually sits there and reads a lot of the comments and the comments and stuff. They look at the picture, cool. But when you're on a Twitter, what is it, 240 characters, whatever it is now? I don't know how long. 280 characters. I mean, all you hear is this guy sucks. This guy should be champ. Creative is horrible. Cancel your subscription. Stop watching. I'm not going to watch anymore. And here's my favorite one this past week. Made me chuckle. It tickled me, as somebody says, right?
It tickled me.
There was this rash of hey guys, these people aren't updating the app, so going forward, the WWE Network will not be on these devices anymore.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, well, I'm canceling if I can't watch it on my 360 anymore, or the PlayStation 3. I'm like, okay, guys, let me tell you something. In the technology world, upgrading is how, what those people are? It's the same guy who upgrades his iPhone every year.
Yeah.
Because it's not up to date. But you still own a 360 that is God knows how old. I have a 360 still. I still have a PlayStation 3. I just chalk it up to, I guess not going to be able to watch the network on my PS3 anymore.
It took me a second to realize that it was not all of Windows 10. It was the Windows 10 app that was the problem.
Right.
I watch a huge portion of my network just on my PC.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because I've got the whole thing. I've got at my desk about 2 PCs and 5 monitors. So I can be doing stuff and working on stuff or watching multiple feeds at one time if I need to. I like it, do it that way. I've got my Roku. Also a way to watch the network. BR
Live.
BR Live will be on the Roku also. So get a Roku, folks.
Right.
So that's the best way to get wrestling now.
Well, here's the thing, like you just brought up. A Roku's $30. If you can't get a new Roku when the update one about every 5 years or something, I don't know how old, because they were saying
I've still got an original model Roku that plays the WWE Network just fine.
It will not coming soon. That's the point. I think they said some of the Roku sticks are going to be on that list. But my thing is, Myron, it's still okay. I mean, that's what we're talking about. Everybody was like, I'm canceling now. And I get it to what they're trying to say, but and then they all bashed on. Here's the thing too, that we talk about. The reason why it's so hard is people are bashing it, and it's misinformation. Like the Windows 10 thing that you said. Like people are going it won't even work on my computer. Well, I'm canceling now. But you dug and you figured out they're talking about the app, not through the browser. The browser's still going to work. But how many people that were just casual fans who maybe had the network, that's all they watch, they saw it and went oh crap, it's not going to work on that anymore.
Yeah. Everybody's
canceling. Well, these guys all know what they're talking about, right? So I'll just cancel it out. I guess
that's the problem. Everybody's an expert on the computer. Okay. It doesn't matter who you are. And that's why social media is so toxic, that everybody who gets a Facebook or a Twitter page, that is their platform, and they're the expert on that platform, and whatever they say is the truth, regardless if they fact checked it or not. And you have to dig, and you have to listen to people who know what they're talking about. You can't you really can't.
Well, I'll give it to you worse, Myron. Eric Bischoff on his latest podcast brought it up, and sometimes it's people who are supposed to know what they're talking about. the Meltzers, the Kellers, and such. I mean, you know what? I'll be just full disclosure. I mean, us. I tell people like, hey, if we say something, we generally do our 100% our best to try to verify something before we.
Well, you caught me in something. You caught me in something on the pre-show and corrected me right there.
Yeah.
And
Well, but it's always. That's why I always say lots of stuff. It's an opinion. It's not it's not factual. So you can kind of have an opinion, but at the same time, if it is something that's factual based, like they were having a huge thing about devices that aren't going to work anymore, and everybody's just misleading information. But Bischoff's point was, you even have people who are supposedly journalists who basically don't understand. They say they love the business, they respect the business, but at the same time, sometimes we'll take a narrative, not realizing that the masses, that follow them blindly, and when they make a statement and they state it as it's a fact, that there's a mass group that goes with them, and they don't realize the damage that they could do based on that opinion.
Yeah, and Meltzer. Okay, here's the thing. Wrestling and journalism did not go well together. Journalism is reporting on something. It's more like wrestling journalism is like movie reviewing, okay? But they act like it's a factual content that they're giving. So when Meltzer shits on something, it doesn't mean I can't still enjoy it. It doesn't mean it's not good. How many WWE pay-per-views have you watched that you enjoyed that everybody crapped on?
It happens quite frequently.
It happens all the time. How many other shows? Like, one of my favorite things I've seen in years was the whole Broken Hearted gimmick. And everybody acted like that was the absolute, it was just blah, 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 blah. I loved it. The Bray Wyatt thing going on right now. Interesting stuff. Something different. They're developing a character. They're shooting vignettes like they did back in the old Bruce Pritchard days. I like it. Don't mean I like exactly what they're doing, but I still like it. But you can't tell me not to like this because you're an expert.
Right, because my joke to you earlier was like, what even constitutes a 5-star match? I mean, nobody can, and to be blunt with you right now, I'm going to say it factually, quote unquote. No, I'm just kidding. I say that in jest. In my opinion, work rate, in-ring work is completely overrated these days because everybody's an expert. Everybody knows what does that even mean? But at the core of it all, drawing fans, like you talked about the Bray Wyatt thing, the reason I'm such a fan of it right now, it's about drawing fans with characters, personalities, and contrary to popular belief, that's what the masses wants. The diehard, and they call them the IWC, the diehard wrestling fan that gets hung up and obsessed with work rate and in-ring work, likes guys that'll, everybody's like, well, this person sold out, this, that, and the other. Okay, no, they did not. There's a buzz, and but at the same time, like if you sit there and told me, character-wise, it's simple. You said it earlier. Dolph Ziggler, and the prep, you brought it up, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't do anything for you, personality-wise. But does Bray Wyatt? Bray Wyatt does more for me right now, and he hadn't been in the ring with this repackaged.
Bingo.
So,
and the terms work rate, does that include selling anymore?
It's who can do the most moves.
Huh?
Who does the best moves?
Yeah, it's not about best moves. It's like making other guy believable. Like one of my favorites right now, Alan Angels, sells just like Ricky Morton. He's a phenomenal, talented athlete who does great moves, but he can make the other guy look really good too. And when he's facing off a guy that's much bigger than him, he makes that point work really well. That's not work rate. That's not all that other stuff. He's developed a character that I believe in because he's believable. And he does things. And it's like when these guys, they have these Marco stunts and these guys that are like 105 pounds. And they go out and wrestle big guys blow for blow and they make it look believable. You can be the best worker in the world, but it's not going to look believable unless you sell it and work it. And it's just not the way that works. I like characters. Junkyard Dog, as you said earlier, Junkyard Dog would not draw a dime in 2019. But 30 years ago, he drew a lot of dimes. Because it was a character-based thing. I went to see Junkyard Dog as a kid. I went to see the Iron Sheik as a kid because those were believable characters that you wanted to go out to see them, not orchestrated combat ballet.
Yeah. So, all that we were just kind of getting about how tough it was right now to be the casual fan. Back to your point of why is it so hard to be a casual fan? Just because you're getting beat up left and right about, just the internet, the diehard, the internet, the smart marks, call it whatever what you want. And that's why I try so heavily, especially here on our show. We share opinions and thoughts. It's not facts.
Yes.
And I have like some guidelines. I don't want to call them rules. We talked, I was telling you about these earlier. It's real simple, man. Number one, be a fan, man. Don't be a critic. Now, can you have an opinion? Absolutely. Can you share that opinion? Absolutely. That's what we do, right? But at the same time, man, you gotta you can like or dislike anything that you want. That's okay. But at the same time, man, just let everybody like their own thing.
Yeah, it's like comic books. For years you didn't tell people you were a comic book guy because people would make fun of you. Now all of a sudden it's cool to be a comic book guy, and instead of the nerds getting together and be enjoying it, they turned on themselves. And that's what we're doing. We're turning on ourselves as wrestling fans. And we're eating up our own enjoyment.
That, and you're running off the fan that's on the fringe.
Yeah. You're gonna turn less people on to the product. You're gonna grow. If me and Nick sat and argued and criticized wrestling, our kids would hear that, and our kids would be less likely to become wrestling fans.
Right.
Okay. If we shit on the product in front of kids, I'm not saying we don't ever shit on a product, but me and Nick will be like at a show. Nobody hears us.
And
don't tell a stranger.
And how many times, Myron? I'm sorry to cut you off. Have you said, "Oh, that sucked"? And I was like, "All right, it was all right, man. It worked for me. I liked it."
But we don't do it in front of other people. We don't ruin other people's enjoyment of it. There'll be somebody behind me yelling their ear off, and I'm like, "Oh God!" But it's their wrestler, and they love it. I don't see it. There's a lot of guys on the local circuit we see all the time. I don't understand, but the crowd loves them. So I'm like, okay. Let them enjoy it.
And you know what?
I don't turn around and say, that guy sucks.
That's number 3 on my list, was just because it's what you like or you don't like, others may like it or might not. It's fine. You don't have to watch everything to be a fan. That's number 4. Yeah. Number 5, you can like more than one promotion, by the way. You don't have to have this blind loyalty to the WWE. You don't have to have blind loyalty to be anti-WWE.
Yep.
It is okay to sit there and talk about like how psyched you are, how pumped you are about AEW, Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega, Double, and still turn around and go like, but you know what, man, I'm really psyched about seeing AJ and Seth this weekend at Money in the Bank.
Yeah. I'm excited about seeing Becky Lynch fight in 2 matches.
Absolutely. So, I mean, there's tons of things, man. We're just telling you, like, just chill, relax, roll with it, man. Just roll with it. Try to be a fan again, and I'm not saying you can't critic.
Wrestling. Don't hurt each other.
Don't hurt each other's opinions, right? That's a fact. I tell you one thing this week that had a bunch of feedback one way or another. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Goldberg and Undertaker are apparently going to face off June 7th at the Super Show they're doing. I get it. This ties into what we were just talking about. First and foremost, guys, how many times have we said the Saudi show? It ain't for you. This show is not for the U.S. audience. People can deny it all they want. Saudi Arabia is paying them a huge check to come over and put this show on for whatever reasons that may be. And guess what they did? Do you remember the last one? They were one of the earlier ones. They were talking about like, hey, could you bring Yokozuna in? And Yokozuna's dead, by the way.
Ultimate Warrior in, and they didn't know.
But here's the thing: I guarantee you, this Taker Goldberg match happened because they wanted this match.
Somebody's like, yes, I would like to see Taker and Goldberg, and they're like, you have money, you're going to see Taker and Goldberg.
Well, that's the point. I mean, is this match 10 years too late? Yes, absolutely, it probably is.
Yeah.
But guess what? That's to the U.S. market. Apparently, there's a bunch of people in Saudi Arabia that want to see this.
Brand new there, man.
So they're gonna get paid, and they're gonna get paid a big check. And like you said, the Goldberg, was hesitant about this match. Is this match going to be a 5-star classic? Oh no, probably not. Match is probably
Goldberg's never been in a 5-star match. In his prime, couldn't do a 5-star match.
Exactly. And so the argument's real laid simple, guys. But it's what they want to see. It proves what we were just talking about.
5-star matches to do good matches.
Do you know why? Because they're going to get to see the freaking Undertaker take on Goldberg.
People love it. And the people will love it.
Absolutely.
Okay? I'll probably watch it. I'm not excited about it, but it'll be on there. It got a 50-man battle royal, which I'll really enjoy because last year's was cool. And then they buried Bray Wyatt. But if you really want to bitch about the WWE right now, there's one person to blame, and it's not Vince. Maybe Vince for causing the problem, though. Writing staff turnover. Okay? So it's easy to become the senior person on the writing staff. Right now, the person that's moving up in seniority is Dana Warrior, because they had to give her a role on the writing staff. And right now, everybody's saying the word on the writing staff is, we all work for Dana now, and it's horribly awkward. So, we've seen some bad stuff, folks. It's Dana.
So anything good is Bruce's fault that he's back.
Bingo. Bruce.
And anything bad is Dana's fault. Okay. So that's how this works now.
Yes, that is the Myron scale now.
And by the way, just to go back to the preface, what we were talking about, I actually want to see this Undertaker Goldberg thing. I'm curious to see how they get out of it. What do they do?
Taker can put 5 minutes in really well, better than anybody. He's not going to hurt Goldberg, which is good. Is Goldberg not going to? I can't say Goldberg's as safe as he is, though. Taker is a professional. He'll give 100%. I mean, if he has to get his hip replaced. I mean, we did a hip replacement right after a match the last time. So, Taker's a professional. He'll put on a match that will be worth watching. Goldberg is he'll probably drag Goldberg, to be honest with you. But Goldberg's got pop, man. He's always had pop. He's never been Kenny Omega. He's never been Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles. But he still has pop, and he's over, and that's all that matters. So if people want to see the show and they're willing to pay for it, they get the show. But if you have a network, you don't have to watch anything you don't want to watch. Go, bzz, fast forward, bzz, next match.
And plus, the thing's going to be on at a weird hour, so, I mean, you're going to watch it the next day anyway.
Probably 2 in the morning.
No, I think it's the reverse. Wasn't it like afternoon there this time?
Oh, it's like middle of the day, yes.
Yeah, it's in the middle of the day because we had that last time we were trying to watch. So, but, you know, like we said, man, they're getting paid big money for it. Goldberg's going to get a big check. Taker's going to get a big check. Think about it. Taker passed over WrestleMania for this.
Yeah. There's a big check, man.
Well, we talked about it last week. They're going to get a bigger check for this show than they did WrestleMania. So, and like I said, somebody wants to see it. Why crap on it? They're getting it. Yeah. Especially this show at the middle of the day. Nobody's forcing you to watch this one.
Yeah.
They're putting it out there. And the casual fan, think about it. We were talking about earlier, the casual fan. This show right here, this match, this will draw casual eyes because there's going to be Goldberg's wrestling again. He's wrestling the Undertaker. Oh my God, we've always wanted this match. Boom, you're going to get it. Is it way too late? Yep. Does it matter? No, I think wrestling's proved that Ric Flair got in the ring way past his prime, and people still were dropping money to see it.
Yep.
And you get a match like Shawn Michaels versus Ric Flair at WrestleMania, which still, as much as you want to say about it, one of my favorite matches.
Mm-hmm.
So, but speaking of guys knocking out some 5-star matches, I came across a cool article and I wanted to ask you about real quick.
Yeah.
It was on the Chair Shot. It's called NXT -6. What are the odds? And it was kind of cool. They basically listed what are the odds of certain wrestlers, and they have a few that they put in here. Who do you think, what NXT talent can go on and become the world champion, WWE champion, whatever, depending on what, and gave some odds, like Vegas odds or whatever, of them being the champion. And I'm just going to rattle them off to you. You tell me what you think, and I'll throw mine back at you. Mm-hmm. Montez Ford, he's one half of the Street Profits. And the funny thing is, I jokingly call him, he's the HBK of the Street Profits, by the way. He's going to be the one that breaks off eventually.
Eventually, probably, but I don't know enough about him to
Yeah,
be able
well,
to
they gave
give
him an 18% chance. It was just a little bit, you got to throw an outlier out there, right? Believe it or not, I'm actually leaning the one that's next on their list. I think should be higher on that list, and that is Shayna Baszler, who at 25% chance of being a champion, she's going to be a women's champion at some point.
Yeah, she will. She will definitely be a women's champion. I don't think she is as marketable, and that's not trying to say a sexist, but I know how Vince's mind works. She's not Lacey Evans, okay?
I mean, she's not Ronda Rousey. If she looked, and again, like I said, not being sexist, if she physically looked like Ronda Rousey, she would already be on the main roster.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's just the true story. Now, she's a legit badass, and she could probably beat any of their asses. But
she could beat my ass. I mean, I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not even going into that, man. I'm not a pugilist.
Yeah.
I've never been in a wrestling ring. I probably won't ever go in a wrestling ring because I have no business being in a wrestling ring. I know you can all beat me.
Yeah. The next one, 30% chance, Adam Cole. Daniel Bryan, it's his fault that he's paved the way. I think he's just too small, and I know the Kofi thing, and I just don't see Adam Cole as a main roster world champion.
We'll see. He outside of being small, he's got the looks of it. So I think he can do it. It's just going to be. He's got the talent. He's got the charisma. It's just the size. The only thing that's holding him back. So.
See, the next guy on the list is the guy that I say is that model. Velveteen Dream, they put a 50% chance.
Yeah.
Dude's money, because he's totally back to what we talked about. He's a character. He's a personality. He's a draw.
I think he's great. I think he's great. 50% chance easily. Yes, I agree.
I think it's above that. Yeah, I think easily, he's a champion. Here's the one that, and I catch flack for this one all the time. Johnny Gargano, they have it like 85% chance. And I'm like, I don't get, and back to what we said earlier, it's cool. I get, everybody likes him. I don't get it. I think he's too small. I know he does the underdog thing really well. Maybe. Maybe he's the Daniel Bryan, for down the road. Just doesn't work for me. I don't see him as the champion, but I could be wrong.
He's a little short on charisma for me. He can sell great. He's just a smaller guy. Maybe the potential. We'll have to see how that plays out because they're going to push him, man. I mean, but he's really well in NXT, don't you think? Don't you think he's killing it down there? Why does he need to be?
I could see him being the role that the rumors of that they offered Hangman Page main roster money to stay in NXT and be like the face of the brand. I could see them doing that with Gargano because he works in that environment.
Oh, he's great. And the matches he put on are phenomenal, man. He's got like the best matches you've seen in a long time.
But what we said earlier, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't, you got to draw. You got to be the personality and the character.
I mean, because you get up on that main roster and you put your great matches in front of a bunch of 12-year-olds, it's not going to work.
Yeah. Which leads me to their favorite, the odds-on favorite to someday go on and become, and this is another guy that everybody thinks is going to be the face of NXT in that same position, Matt Riddle.
Mm-hmm. And I 100% am backing that because this guy is a magnet. I've seen him live a couple of times back before he was called up. He has got the character. He has got the persona. He's cool. He's lovable. He's ungodly talented. Yeah, he's got all the potential in the world. If he can stay off the weeds.
I was gonna you got to my point before me. I said there's two things that can keep Matt Riddle from being world champion: injury or a failed wellness policy, test.
And the thing is, I don't know if they'll even. I mean, why does he need to pass the wellness policy? It's just weed.
Well,
it ain't like it's performance enhancing.
Well,
I know they're a nationally traded, publicly traded company. I understand that you need a drug policy for something like that, but it's still wrestling. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
I think some things are flexible in wrestling.
Well, I tell you, there were some comments that were made. I know there's a big topic this week that came out involving one Lars Sullivan. I know
Oh,
Big E got involved. I'll let you start with that one. Like, what was your.
he said a lot of Lars Sullivan apparently when he was younger was on some kind of bodybuilding forum. So if you can't tell he's a steroided out freak, that's all it is. He posted some hateful stuff. I don't want to repeat it. Big E responded to people posting it with a very dignified response. He said that if this is true, he has to bear the albatross of being a bigot in a company that's now filled with minorities. So he's going to be the odd man out now. And if you're not going to be able to work in the back room, it's going to be bad. But they're intent on pushing him. Okay, they're clearly intent on pushing this guy. So some of the sponsors complained, and we don't need a problem with sponsors right now in wrestling as a whole, because sponsors have always tried to cut rate wrestling advertising. We need to make those people happy. If you want to draw revenue, you don't need sponsors pulling out. So they drop $100,000 fine on this guy who's probably not even barely. It's probably at least 2/3 of his yearly income. Are they going to? Is it a wrestling fine where it's a work? I don't know. Is it going to get paid to what? I don't know. Are they going to give him $100,000 bonus to cover it?
Yeah, I don't know what he's making, so that's a hard one to argue.
But the thing is, it's why are we in an age where a guy is so objectionable he might piss off sponsors, but we decide to keep him anyway? You don't need him. Is that just Vince wanting to push another big body guy? Is it the Hogan thing? Do these things really matter? What he said, does it matter enough that it might alienate new fans or alienate new sponsors?
Well, there's also a fine line to walk of how long ago was it? Is this him now? Is this and everybody always has a backlash to that kind of stuff, and I'm like, you walk a fine line when you start saying like, oh, we saw these comments from X years ago. And now, if they were I don't know how old they were, but when especially with these kids coming out of for pro football or college football, and you're
Yeah.
like, when he was a freshman in high school, he tweeted out once this
Oh
this
God.
word, and you're like, okay, well, he was a freshman in high school. Not saying it's okay. I'm just saying he was a freshman in high school. Now we're talking 8 years later, he's going into the pros or something, and this is coming up.
Well, there was that guy that was that recently drafted, and he was we'll just say he's a huge Trump supporter. He got drafted to San Francisco. Um, the hateful things he said were just the other day. He only quit at draft time. That's different.
You're right, and that's kind of.
I've also said a lot of horrible shit on the internet. I'm not going to lie. Okay, I used to be combative. I used to argue, not racist. Okay, not sexist, not homophobic, but I was combative and called people stupid stuff, and I was aggressively angry because I was going through some personal issues that I've just now figured out how to handle my anger.
We told you video game forums are rough.
Yes. Okay. I kept my pages private. Not a lot of people saw the stuff, and I've never put myself in a position where I thought my job would be impaired or penalized by things I said. So, yeah, we've all got skeletons. Okay, it's how you. If Lars is going to really I will support this if he shows effort, if he shows like I am sorry, if he can be legitimately, what's the word I'm looking for? They escape me sometimes, but be legitimately sorry and improve and not do stuff like this again. Yeah, I can work with that, but who knows?
What's up?
Yeah, I'm not the guy that can be the answer, and I'm not the arbitrator to make the decisions about what's right and wrong in the world. I'm just a guy on a podcast.
Exactly.
Okay.
Uh,
I mean,
well,
I am moral authority.
anybody that
Don't
tries to play
listen to
moral
me.
authority is usually the first one that you dig deep enough, you're going to
Yeah.
find all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking
I
of
have.
digging, there was a little bit of digging on something we discussed last week, and we wanted to correct it because we always try to, right?
Yeah.
So we discussed last week Willie Mack being signed by Impact and how he finally got out of his Lucha contract, maybe Lucha Underground contract, or did he play that system that was so complicated? Well, this week, he was on Wrestling Inc.'s podcast and said that when asked about Lucha Underground, he said, I don't know if we're going to have another season, but he's up for return though. So clearly he's still he has some type of deal with them. So let me ask you this: Does this lend is the word credibility to what Nick Aldis tweeted?
Yes.
Did
Mack syndrome, I will call it.
who's?
He got played.
Yeah,
He was told this is based on what I think, because he sounds like, for lack of a better to put it, someone in an abusive relationship that's making excuses for the other partner. I think the Lucha Underground people got him this Impact deal, or he wanted more money and got himself out of his NWA deals and used this as an excuse. So somewhere something's not on the up and up with me.
yeah. I'm of the take of Impact was bringing more money to the table, and I think like Lucha Underground pulled their cards to get him out of the Ring of Honor, NWA, contracts or whatever deals he had with them. And since they do work with, or did, who knows, will again work with Impact again, and Impact is maybe offering more money, they help him out to get that deal. Think about this, if he just doesn't cause a stink with this Lucha Underground contract and stays in it.
Well, yeah.
So you scratch our back, we'll scratch yours. We'll help you get more money with Impact. Don't try to get out of our deal. Although, didn't they kill him?
No, I think hold on. Who'd they kill? They killed the big guy, Jeff Cobb.
Yeah, that was right. I was kidding, but we were.
And people, if anybody wants to crap on Vince McMahon blowing up in a limousine,
They killed Jeff Cobb. Literally, they on the television show, not like in real life. People, they didn't kill him for real, but you know what I'm saying. But on the television show, not like proverbial like shovel buried.
No.
We mean like literally like killed the character on the show.
no man with 3 H's, no
Cena.
back.
Well, man, we're the clock's running here. We're got to look at this. It's Money in the Bank week. We got to cover a little bit real quick on Money in the Bank. We would be remiss to not throw out our opinions on Money in the Bank. I know there's a couple pay-per-views we always like. Royal Rumble. I know you really like Money in the Bank with the briefcase hanging above the ring.
It's tension. It's drama.
Hey, all the creation of one Chris Jericho. He was the original guy who created this match. Also prides himself on not winning it when he created it, which was weird. But let's go straight to we're not going to cover the card match by match, guys. You guys know that's just kind of something we don't really do. But we do like to hit the high notes. So you got the Money in the Bank matches. There's in the men, you've got Andrade, Ricochet, Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor, Sami Zayn, Baron Corbin, Ali, and Randy Orton. Just real quick, we'll fire them out. Who you got?
Every time I say, no, not that Randy Orton guy, they give Randy Orton a win. So the smart money is on Randy Orton. That's just me. They like to give him victories in these kind of matches.
It would at least get him in the mix, because you know what it would do if Kofi Kingston defeats Kevin Owens at the pay-per-view and is stays champion, then immediately you roll in with Randy Orton's got the briefcase, and we all know about Kofi and Randy's history, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stupid. So I'm still going to go with McIntyre. I don't know why I'm going with Drew McIntyre. I just think Drew McIntyre, they're probably going to slap in a feud with Seth Rollins if he stays champion, so we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
The women, you've got Ember Moon, Mandy Rose, Dana Brooke, Alexa Bliss, Bayley, Natalya, Naomi, and Carmella.
Alexa Bliss.
I know you like Alexa Bliss.
She's been inactive, and she's money. You had a different opinion, though.
I do. My opinion is Bailey, because I think it'd be a great way to try to revive her and bring her career back where she's struggling, when she got just kind of stalled on Raw.
They are not going to do anything with Bailey right now, in my personal opinion, because of the whole thing with Sasha Banks.
See, I disagree. I think they'll do it to give the big middle finger to Sasha and say, had you just stayed around, this could have been you.
Ooh. Well, point taken.
Because we always heard, what have we heard? They took her out of the match because of the issue. She was supposed to be in the Lacey Evans spot, was what everybody always says. Now, how true that is, I don't know. So if that were the case, A, she may have been wrestling for in the match that Lacey Evans is in on the pay-per-view. Or, 2, she could have been in this match and she gets the briefcase and then she can go after Becky. Bailey, that's my choice. I think
I can't argue with your logic. I just disagree with you.
Which is all good. We got the other two I really wanted to ask you is about the two women's matches. Charlotte's wrestling Becky for the SmackDown title, and Becky's defending the against Lacey. I think that ultimately is going to be the biggest piece of this puzzle.
Because if you have to face Charlotte first, I predict a loss to Charlotte and a win with Lacey Evans for Becky.
Yeah.
She has to face Charlotte second.
See, I think she faces Lacey first and wins, and I think she faces Charlotte second and loses.
Okay, because that puts everybody over, actually.
Because Becky can still continue if something will happen.
Yeah.
And then she can, but then of course, Charlotte's, Becky loses, but if she's her second hard fought match of the night, it still semi protects her a little bit.
Yeah, and it is Charlotte. I mean, Charlotte's the best. She's not my favorite, but she's the best by far in the women's division, in my opinion.
Oh, I 100% agree with you there. So, I mean, any the other matches that you're looking forward to, or
who's AJ got?
AJ Seth Rollins for the title.
That's going to be an excellent match. I enjoy AJ's matches. Seth Rollins, I don't enjoy his matches, but he puts on good matches. So there's no way you could be disappointed in that match as far as quality. Those two guys are professionals.
Mm-hmm. The other one I'm kind of got a little bit of a buzz about, which I know one else probably does. The Usos are challenging Erick Rowan and Daniel Bryan for the SmackDown tag titles, but Daniel Bryan cut a hell of a promo on SmackDown. It was like a week ago, or was this whatever? They blur together at this point. He basically addressed the issue kind of subtly about what fans complain about. He basically said that the New Day and the Usos, that they're a joke. They were always worried about being cool or comedy acts or whatever. Daniel Bryan and Erick Rowan are going to do to the tag belts what he did to the world title. First, they got to replace them with the Captain Planet belts. So they have the Captain Planet tag belts, but they're going to become the best tag team the planet deserves. And so, to me, it all boils down to a simple fact of what they were short on tag teams.
Yeah,
they put one of the best wrestlers in the world in a tag team, Daniel Bryan. He's got a monster to go with him.
Yeah, it's a solid mathematics on this whole thing, and Bryan's doing a great job as a heel.
100% agree with you there.
So, put some pep in it,
Yeah.
Usos, you never know what they are, heels or faces.
Best pure tag team in WWE.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's just my opinion, but whatever.
They're like, to me though, they're like white bread. They're bland.
Oh, I love them. I think they're really good. I just think I
don't have a problem with it. They're a great tag team. I just don't think they're not interested for me.
Well, what other stuff you got? Anything going on this weekend?
This weekend we got Wildcat from New Orleans coming to the Landmark Arena in Cornelia, Georgia, at Todd Sexton in a match. Southern Fried Booker Todd Sexton in a match to get him probably ready for his big match at Shindig. Shindig is building up to on the 1st of June. I just got approved to be off work for it. Look for some Shindig content coming from us on Facebook and Twitter. But yeah, we've met the people from Wildcat before at WrestleCade. All really nice, very professional guys and great talented guys. I really look forward to being up there. It's this Saturday night, 8:00, Landmark Arena. And it's on Fight TV also, so it'd be worth buying. If you can't go, it'd be worth seeing. You're going to see a lot of the local Georgia talent versus some of the best talent out of New Orleans. So this is a must-win situation, something you got to see.
Absolutely. But man, it's been a crazy week. Like I said, we're really glad. We're super happy about making our debut, our official debut on Jarrett Parsons Wrestling Television. If you're listening to us on the podcast, make sure you go out, grab your Roku, man. Check it out. It's a streaming service, Jarrett Parsons Wrestling Television. Some cool old school product. Continental, like we said, Memphis, Portland.
I love it, man.
There are versions of
free.
It's free.
It's all free.
That's
all this great wrestling for free.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, man, we always try to tell everybody, if you're watching us for the first time on Jarrett Parsons and you haven't heard us before on the podcast, you can follow us on, all of our podcasts and subscribe to us as well on Spotify, iHeartMedia, Apple Podcasts, pretty much Google Play, anywhere you can find a podcast, we're there. And of course, if you really want to keep up to date with us, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at TappedOutPod. But my favorite thing to do is if you can follow us at patreon.com/TappedOutPod. Become a patron there. There's some cool different levels. Starting as low as $1, you can go up to $50, a month, whatever. Gives you some cool stuff, the cool options. You get free shirts, make an appearance on the show. Now that we're on Jarrett Parsons Wrestling Television, how cool would that be? You could become a Patreon member and you could be right here with us recording an episode. Anything else, brother, before we get out of here?
Go to ProWrestlingTees.com and find the finest in wrestling t-shirts, especially at the Tapped Out store.
Yep, ProWrestlingTees.com/Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast. You can get all of the shirts there, the original Tapped Out tee, the I'd Tap That shirt, and of course, wrestling's like women. You don't have to understand it to love it. That's the one I've got on right now. I'm actually wearing it right now. But man, well, if you're new to Jarrett Parsons Wrestling Television and you haven't heard this before, well, buddy, if I've got nothing and you've got nothing, man, what time is it?
It's time to tap out.